Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां. समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. Hari Om. So we are looking into this Amrita Bindu Upanishad as part of the Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yagna of this month 13. The first two verses of Amrita Bindu Upanishad very beautifully explains about the two types of mind. What are the two types of mind? Shuddham, Ashuddham. Pure, impure. Clean, unclean. Tidy, untidy. What is Shuddham? What is Ashuddham? What is Ashuddham first? Kama Sankalpam. If there are selfish desires in the mind, selfish movements of thoughts, which are very active, like active volcanoes, Ashuddham, Kama Sankalpam of desires, then it is a impure mind, untidy mind. Shuddham, Kama Vivarjitam. So what is a clean mind? A clean mind is free of desires. So what is a clean room? A clean room, a tidy room, is a room where you have things that you need, things that you really want, and you're taking care of them in their right place. That is a clean room. What is an untidy room? Untidy room, you have brought in many things out of unawareness. You don't want them, but still you don't want to let go of them. They are strewn all over the place. They are, there may be things that are very harmful. There may be harmful to the environment as well as for you. There may be things that you don't need, which you're hoarding, which belongs to somebody else. A whole plethora of things are there around, and it is a total mess, and that is an unclean room. In the same way, a clean mind is having the thoughts that you really want, that you really need for your work or for your responsibilities and duties, and for your really intense desires, like your hobbies, your crafts, or something that you want to give others, share with others. Those are all the thoughts that you have, it is a clean mind. An unclean mind, an impure mind, is having all kinds of desires of ambition, hatred, jealousy, anger, disbelief, diseases, the vrittis, they're all obstacles that come in us. As a result of so many impure thoughts, we invite many obstacles into our lives. So that is an impure mind. Kama vivarjita. And why is it important to study about this mind? Because the next verse says, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. The mind alone is the reason for the cause of bondage and for liberation in human beings. What is bondage and what is liberation? The previous line also had the same format. It underlines a principle and it explains it. The previous line underlined the principle that there are two types of mind. They are pure and impure. Then what is pure mind? What is impure mind? And then the next line says, after explaining about two types of mind, why should we know about the two types of mind? Why should I know there is two types of wood? Why should I know there is two types of gold? Why should I know there is two types of cricket bats? Why? Because I need to know this two types of mind because I have a mind and that mind is responsible for my bondage and my liberation. So what is bondage and what is liberation? Bondage is I hold on to Vishaya. Adi Shankaracharya Bhagwan says in Prashnottari Ratna Malika, it is a very, very beautiful text. We have done that on this YouTube channel, Chinmaya Surya channel, in the earlier days of beginning this. It's a very beautiful text. Question and answer. Vishat Visham Kim Vishaya Samastaha. Vishat Visham Kim. What is the greatest poison of all poisons? Vishayaha Samastaha. All Vishayas, all objects of all objects, meaning Vishayaha, all objects of the senses, object of form, object of taste, object of smell, object of touch, object of hearing, object of speaking, object of grasping, everything in this universe with name, form, and quality is a Vishaya. And they are all Visham because if we don't know to handle, if it is poison, if we know to handle poison, there is no harm in that. But the problem is we don't know. We are all living in ignorance. We don't have the knowledge. We don't have the right education about the self. Since our childhood, we are born and then we just grow naturally into the world and we desire things. We are engaged in ignorance only. Bandhaya Vishayasaktam. So if the mind holds on to these objects or the thoughts, especially the desires for future fulfillment, then it is a bondage. It is very, very simple to understand this. As long as you are okay staying wherever you are, you don't want an own home, you are free. You don't have any problem and you don't have that much of money to buy your own home and you are staying somewhere within your means. You're earning a salary, you're living in a house, you're paying some rent, you're able to manage it and you're fine with it, it is okay. But when you have a desire for an own home and a home which has these facilities, and to fulfill that desire, there is no other way for you to buy a home except by taking money, except by borrowing money or taking a loan, and then you buy the home, you fulfill that desire, but you have borrowed the money, And borrowed money is not like rent. Rent is if you are not able to pay, there is some amount of advance that you've already given, and at the right time, you can move out of the place. You can even live in the platform for some time, nobody will question you. But when you go into your own house and you have borrowed money, you've got all your expenses, you've got all your household expenditure to meet. At the same time, you have to repay the loan, and if you don't repay the loan, there is so much of embarrassment, there is so much of difficulty, and you have to take more loans to repay that loan. So life is going to be very difficult, and life becomes bound when you have a desire. Bandhaya Vishayasaktam. Muktam Nirvishayam Smritam. What is freedom? Freedom is I don't have any desire within me. I really don't want this or want that. It is to that extent that if I fall sick and I'm able to treat myself well and good, if I'm not able to treat myself with expensive medical facilities, so be it. If that kind of level of vairagya or dispassion comes, so then that is liberation. Muktam nirvishayam smritam. It is understood. What is everywhere in many smritam means it is said in the shastras, it is said everywhere that freedom is being free of thoughts, not being attached to thoughts. As I mentioned yesterday, the self is a very energized, conscious, magnetic presence. To that magnetic presence, the mind is already attached. The mind is actually dead ion matter. You can say dead matter. That dead matter of the mind, like an ion piece, dead ion piece, is attached to this magnet called the self. And the mind becomes very alive. And just like the ion that is attracted to the magnet also gets the power of the magnet being attached to the magnet, the mind also has the power of attraction, and it attracts objects to it. It attracts objects means the objects of the world, the people, the situations, the thoughts, and the emotions, the feelings are all in thought forms which are attracted to the mind. And that attraction forms impressions on the mind, which is called samskaras. And when the attraction is very constant, on a day-to-day basis, if you're seeing the thoughts, if you're experiencing those thoughts, then that becomes a vasana. It is very strong. So what is freedom? Freedom is not having vishaya, not having any impressions in the mind, not having vasanas in the mind is freedom. Having vasanas in the mind, having strong attractions in the mind of the impressions of the world and desiring for them is bondage. Now we get very clear about what is the way forward in life. What is the way forward? The third verse says, Yato nirvishayasyasya manaso muktirishyate ato nirvishayam nityam manakaryam mumukshunam. Yataha nirvishayasya asya manasa yataha. So we have seen about what is pure mind, what is impure mind, what is the mind in bondage, what is the mind in freedom. Yataha, therefore, nirvishayasya asya manasaha muktihi ishyate. What is freedom? Freedom is keeping the mind free of any vishaya, free of any thoughts, is called mukti. Yataha nirvishayasya asya manasaha, of this mind being free is called mukti or liberation, freedom. We all want to be free. How do we know we want to be free? When we are working, we enjoy our holidays. Yoga calls it Virama Pratyaya. Virama means relaxation. Between one task and another task, there is some time. The time is called freedom. Between one thought and another thought, there is a gap. That gap is freedom. Freedom is uh, uparama, withdrawal from some action, withdrawal from some responsibility. It's called freedom. Withdrawal from some big task, withdrawal from some worry, withdrawal from any thought is freedom. Yataha nirvishayasya asya manasaha muktihi ishyate. So when we clean our room, we feel very free. We feel very happy because there were so many objects, there was so much dust, there were so many cobwebs that we did not want to see, but we were compelled to see on a day-to-day basis. When everything has been removed, we feel very happy because we don't have to pay attention to something that we really don't want to pay attention to on a day-to-day basis. So that is freedom of our living space. So freedom of the mind is keeping the mind free of all the thoughts that we don't want to pay attention to, that we don't want to give our energy to, that we don't want to give our attention to, that we don't need, don't want, it doesn't serve us. Being free of all those thoughts. Nirvishayasya asya manasaha muktihi ishyate. Ataha. Therefore, nirvishayam nityam manaha karyam mumukshuna. Mumukshu is a person who desires freedom. First, I have to decide who am I, and only then proceed further into this Upanishad. If I identify myself as a lover of freedom, if I want freedom, and if I want freedom above everything else, anything can be removed from you. Your friends can be removed from you. Your money can be removed from you. Your house and your living space and even your loved ones and your family can be removed from you. And if you're okay with all this, at the cost of everything, if you want freedom, then you are a mumukshu. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, somebody was asking him, what is liberation? What is freedom? What is freedom? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was walking along the river and he did not want to say anything to this person. He just wanted to make him experience what is freedom. So he told that person, he didn't tell him anything. This person was going on questioning. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa pushed this person into the water, asked him to stand there, and asked him to bend into the water. And as he bent down, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa put his head and held him under water for some time. And then when that fellow was slowly suffocating for breath, he slowly brought him out and he asked him, when you were underwater, what was your most intense desire? So he said, my most intense desire when I was underwater was to take a gasp of breath. And so he says, if you desire freedom like this, then you will get freedom. So that is the freedom we are talking about of a mumukshu. So if I am such a mumukshu, if I desire freedom, freedom is not a bad thing. Freedom is not a sad thing at all. When we say things are removed, necessarily not be like that. But we give the worst case scenario, we give the extreme examples so that you really desire it. That's the reason why this is given. Otherwise, a free person, a Jivan Mukta Purusha, is actually a very happy person. We may not want it because we don't understand what is the happiness that he is experiencing, and we have our own ideas of happiness. So if we are ready to forego our ideas of happiness and we want to have true happiness in life, then mumukshu is the best path. And in another example, if you want to have a materialistic example, if I will say what is freedom. If that is very agreeable, then we can very happily go towards the path of being a moksha. So, what is freedom? I have lots of money. I have crores and crores of money. I have enough estates which are being well taken care of, very well administered. There are people to take care of everything, and money from those estates are also coming. I don't have any problems because there is no litigation, nothing, everything is there. And I am also very powerful among people, and I naturally have a very good position in the society, in the government, everywhere I'm having a good position. And what else? I'm an author. I write lots of books, and those books are all bestsellers. People are all coming to me. I am also a very learned person. This I means you, anybody else. Just giving an example of the person who's free in the worldly sense. So I am very well learned. So there are lots of people who seek out to me to solve their problems, to come out of their sufferings. They look up to me. So that way my relationships are also very good. People are all dependent on me for their own guidance and help. And I don't engage in any kind of malpractices, or I am not stupidly using my money also by giving away loans to people who are misusing them. I very wisely distribute the money. So I am a very rich, well-to-do person. I am a very health conscious person. I do my yoga, pranayama, asanas, walking. I do my chanting. I'm a very devoted person also. So everything is going well for me in my life, and I have lots and lots of money. So, and I don't have any desires also. And if any desire is there, it will naturally be met. So I'm not worried about it. But I don't have naturally any desires. So, what is the nature of that life of such a person? Is freedom. So, that is the kind of freedom we will enjoy. And that is why Bhagavan Swami Shivananda Ji Maharaj, the Diksha Guru of Gurudev Swami Chinmaya, he says, you leave all these small, small pleasures, become the Shahenshah of Shahenshahs, the King of Kings, the Master of Masters, the Lord of Lords. Aspire for that life. So if we want to aspire for such a life, mumukshuna yataha nirvishayasya asya manaha muktirishyase ataha nirvishayam nityam manaha karyam. For a mumukshu, a person who loves freedom, because what is freedom? Freedom is making the mind free of thoughts, making the mind free of thought movements. Thoughts are okay, but the movements of thoughts, when the thoughts become active, it is not okay. The desire is there in the mind, but when the desire gets active, you can't stop it. Yataha nirvishayasya asya manasaha muktihi ishyate. What is mukti? What is moksha? Keeping the mind free of thoughts. Nirvishayasya asya manasaha muktihi. Ataha nirvishayam nityam manakaryam. You make the mind nirvishaya. You make it free of all the thoughts. You make the mind free of any thought. Meaning nirvishayam manaha karyam. Karyam means I must do. This is mama karyam, mama kartavyam. What is my daily work? My daily work is to free the mind of thoughts, to do the necessary sadhana like japa, dhyana, pranayama, or watching the breath, observing the breath. If I do these three things, my mind will become free of vishaya, of thoughts. So, ataha nirvishayam manaha karyam. The mumukshu, the one who deserves, the one who loves to be free, should make the mind free by doing, what is it? By making the mind free of thoughts. How do we make the mind free of thoughts? Bhagavan Sri Adi Shankaracharya, there are many, many, many texts that give us the ways. Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya says in the most beautiful text called Bhaja Govindam. Pranayamam Pratyaharam Nitya Nitya Viveka Vicharam Japya Sameta Samadhi Vidhanam Kurvavadhanam Mahadavadhanam. Pranayamam, inhaling, retaining and exhaling, sometimes holding the breath. Pranayamam. Pratyaharam, withdrawing the senses from all objects outside and focusing it within in my own responsibilities and duties. Pranayamam, Pratyaharam, Nitya Nitya Viveka Vicharam. Nitya, Anitya. What is permanent? Consciousness, the self, I. Anitya. What is impermanent? The thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the objects of the senses are impermanent. Anitya. Viveka. Splitting it, understanding it in my mind. What is real? What is unreal? What is eternal? What is ephemeral? All these differences. Nitya Nitya Viveka Vicharam. Vicharam is focusing on that thought, focusing on the difference between the thought of the difference between what is eternal and what is ephemeral. There is a gap between the two. Focusing on that gap and contemplating is vichara. Japya Sameta, taking a mala, and then whether it is Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. If you like Shiva, otherwise, if you like Narayana, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. If you feel Shiva and Narayana are too far away, you want gods of the present days and the present times whom we can relate to, whose stories we know. You can say Shri Rama Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nirvishayam. When you do this daily, your mind will, all this time when we chanted this mantra, if you had chanted along with me, what was the thought that would have been in your head? Only this one thought. So the mind is free of the other thoughts. To make the mind free of other thoughts, hold on to one thought. Nirvishayam. That is japa, repetition of a mantra. Otherwise, it can be puja. Have a nice altar like this. Keep a Bhagavan there of a small size, a small pratima, because you should not get lost in the details. If you have big pratimas for puja, suppose a painting is gone in one place, while doing puja, oh my God, the thoughts will dissipate. Oh my God, there is the paint is not there. Tomorrow I should tell this person to get it painted and get it done. I don't know why people are not taking care of this idol like this. So we will have some thoughts or the other. So when we do puja in our house, the pratima should not be bigger than the size of our thumb. Because Paramatma is living in our heart space in the size of our thumb. So that is a thumb size vigraha you have, and you can, just like how children do cooking or children take care of a doll, they will give bath to the doll, they will wipe the doll with a towel, they will put a beautiful dress for the doll, they will drape a sari and a blouse, and then they will put kumkum, they will put chandan, they will comb the hair of the doll, put flowers, and they will put the doll in a seat or in a chair, whether it's a standing doll or a sitting doll. And then what they will give, they will make food for that doll, and they will offer for that doll. That food will not be there, the vessel will be empty. They will say, this is sambar rice, this is rasam rice, or this is idli, this is dosa. And how they do to their parents also, they will give parents also one mouthful of their empty dish. So in the same way, you worship Bhagwan. That is puja. Puja is just a game we play with Bhagwan. But really we give. It is not empty. Like, because we are not children, we are grown up. When we do puja, we don't offer empty vessels and we don't offer empty plates and dishes to Bhagwan. We put something in that. We even cook something. Really we do things. We really cook a prasad and we really offer to Bhagwan. So in the case of parents, they really take in all the empty plates and only empty hands. But Bhagavan, though he is not really taking it, empty hands only, we are giving real food, but there he is not seeming to absorb. But as a bhavagrahi Janardana, Bhagavan is a bhavagrahi. He takes our intentions, he takes our love, he takes our care, he takes our attention, he takes our consciousness. Bhagavan is, so that way, what happens? My mind becomes pure. So puja, another way to purify my mind, visiting holy places, Tirtha Yatra. You go to Ayodhya Dham, you go to Badrinath, you go to Kedarnath, you go to Gangotri, you go to Yamunotri, or you go even to temples nearby your house. Everywhere, wherever you go, you visit holy places, you are purifying the mind. Whenever we visit holy places, the divinity there, the people around in that place who are taking care, everybody, what they do when we offer, voluntarily we offer money, we offer flowers, we offer fruits, we offer coconuts, we offer many things. In Tirupati, they offer hair. In many, many places, there are different offerings are given. When we give them the offering, we are giving our prana shakti outside. It goes out, and with that, our vasanas are also going out. So, there is holy places. Then singing the glories of Bhagavan. Hari 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 Smarana Karo. Hari 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 Smarana Karo. Hari Charan Kamal Dhyan Karo. Hari Charan Kamal Dhyan Karo. Murali Madhava Seva Karo. Murali Madhava Seva Karo. Murahara Giridhari Bhajan Karo. Murahara Giridhari Bhajan Karo. When we sing our heart out, we give out our prana. Whatever goes in is apana. Whatever comes out of us with love and devotion and attention is prana. When we give out our prana, prana is very close to consciousness. It is almost consciousness. It is the same as consciousness. So prana brings out all our vasanas and throws it outside. The mind becomes free. Singing the glories of Bhagavan. Then ritualistic sacrifices. Yagna, you keep a homakunda, you keep fire, you keep twigs there, and then you offer ghee, you offer some ahuti, and then you say Swaha Aidam Namama Om Bhurbhuvassuvaha Tatsaviturvaregenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonoh Prachodayat Swaha Aidam Namama. Gayatri Homa or Mrityunjaya Homa or Ganapati Homa or Dhanvantri Homa without any desire in our heart, when we do, then we are clearing our mind. With desire also, if we do, we clear our mind. But without desire, it is the best form of clearance that we can do. Charity, dana, when we consciously with awareness offer something to someone who wants it, especially if it is money, if it is good words, if it is food, if it is clothes, to somebody that loves to take what we offer and we give it, then it is dana. That will also purify our mind. Austerities, tapas. Tapas, tapodanam, what is it? In the Bhagavad Gita also, yajñas tapas tata danam, yajña tapa danam. These three pavanani manishinam, they purify our mind. Or you can take up one practice, or if you have time, you can take up more, or a combination of all these. But all these methods will purify our mind. These verses 4 and 5 come together. Let us see. Nirasta Vishaya Sangam Sanniruddham Manohridi Yadaya Yatmano Bhavam Tada Tatparamam Padam Tavadeva Nirodhavyam Yavat Hridigatam Kshayam Etat Jnanam Cha Dhyanam Cha Shesho Nyayascha Vistaraha Nirasta Vishaya Sangam. So when I give up the attachment to the thoughts, attachment to the intense desires that I have, Sanniruddham, what should I do then? Sanniruddham Manohradi. Then the mind is Niruddha. Niruddha Avastha is the last stage of the mind. The mind has got 5 avasthas or 5 bhumis or 5 levels. Mudha. Mudha is a dull state of mind where I don't know anything. Like a drunken person lying down on the road does not know anything is Mudha Avastha. Then Mudha is I don't know anything. Shipta is a very restless mind, always engaged in some work. People who are all engaged in work and they are earning money and they feel that only if they do work and they earn money they can survive and they can live, they are all living in Shipta Avastha. They will not be able to sit down and think anything else other than that work. All their thoughts will be rotating around their work, their employment, the money, the salary that they receive, how much more or how much less, the egos and the ego games and the jealousy and the anger, the hatred, the desires, everything around that workspace only, it will be revolving. They will not be able to sit down and focus their mind on something. So that is Shipta Avastha or Rajasic in nature. Then you have the third state of mind where there is some Sattva Guna that is coming. Sattvic in nature, it is Vikshipta Avastha. They will leave everything else. They will focus on one thing. Maybe playing cricket, or maybe playing the veena, or maybe singing, or maybe cooking, or maybe taking care of the household. One work they will have and that will be their responsibility. That is Vikshipta Avastha. Even in that case, the mind is not steady. The mind will oscillate and it will always move into Shipta and Mudha. The mind will not rise higher than that. So from Vikshipta Avastha, we have to really withdraw from that and make the mind one-pointed by doing sadhana. When we do japa, or when we do asanas, when we do pranayama, or when we do meditation, the mind becomes one-pointed. It comes to ekagra avastha. The mind becomes one-pointed. It is not multiple point. It is not scattered in many ways. It becomes ekagra. There is only one thought in the mind, and that thought is of moksha or liberation. So that is the only desire in the mind, one-pointed mind. And in that one-pointed mind, still if the world is not calling you out for anything else, or you are not coming, there are 2 ways by which we move out of our house. One way is when somebody rings the calling bell, we go out and open the door, and then if that person calls us out, we will go out. The other way is if there is some compelling desire inside us, if I want to buy something, if I want to go and meet somebody, if I want to go to some place, then I move out of the house. So if both these are not there, I stay inside the house. If either there is no desire coming from outside into me, or there is no desire that is going from within outside, then my mind becomes niruddha. Niruddha. Mano hridi san niruddham. Samyak niruddham. Where is the mind? Where is my consciousness? Where is my awareness? My awareness is in the hridaya. In the hridaya is the space in the heart. When we say heart, the heart is a space of feeling. Whenever we say, I feel so bad, I feel so sad, I feel so happy. Or even if you ask a child, where are you? The child will say, I am here. Okay, the I, the feeling, or the sense of I, the feeling of I, is the hridaya. Hridaya, mano hridi. In that hridaya, in that I, in that consciousness, place the mind. Yada ayati atmanaha bhavam. When that feeling of I has come, when the feeling of I is not this body is the home for the I. Ullam perum koyil ullam. I. What is within is a big temple. It's a sacred space. This I. Unudam balayam. This body is the temple where alaya, everything merges into that place and stays within. Vallal Piranark. For the great people, for the people who know this truth, Vai Gopuravasal. Gopuravasal. In the Gopura entrance of the Gopura of the temple, what happens there? People come in, people go out. So what enters into that Gopura of this temple of the body, food goes in through the mouth, and what comes out? Words come out. Words come out, enriched with prana, enriched with consciousness, words come out. So people go in, people means here the food goes in, it meets that divinity. Food means energy goes in, it meets that divinity, it merges with that divinity, and it comes out as purifying words. Vai Gopuravasan. Tellat Telivarku, where people who are very, very clear, Tellat Telivarku. For people who have the clarity, Jiva Shivalingam, this Jiva, this life, this air that moves in, air that moves out, the air that moves in is food for this presence of that Ishvara within. And when we do not know that Ishvara is that Ishvara, it is the Jiva within. The air that moves in gets enriched and then comes out. Jiva Shivalingam. That is only the Shivalinga. Linga means the identification of the presence of something is Linga. Here, the identification of the presence of life is Shivalinga or the Jiva. Kalla means thief, somebody who's cheating. All the five sense organs that have the capacity to cheat us, that have the capacity to distract our senses. Kalla pulanaindum kala manivilakke. They're very steady lamps. They're five steady lamps that show the light of the presence within. Nirasta Vishaya Sangam Sanniruddham Manohridi. Yada Ayati Atmano Bhavam. When that Atma Bhavam comes in me, when I know for sure, I may not realize, but I may know, yes. How do I know? The Shastras say, the Guru has said, Atmano Bhavam. When I come to that presence of the heart center, Tada tat paramam padam. I have reached that supreme space. I don't need to go anywhere. I don't want whatever I need will come to me. Whatever I want, if the facilities are there, if the situation is there, it will come to me. If it is not there, it may not come. And if the want is not in tune with my highest goals, then also it will not come. Yada ayati atmano bhavam tada tat paramam padam. So what is that supreme space? That supreme space is a pure mind, a clean mind, an unagitated mind, a steady mind, a happy mind, a blissful mind. So everybody who has a beautiful home, they love. I know so many people from Kerala who work in Tamil Nadu. And of course, we know what is Kerala. It's called God's own country because of all the natural wealth, the trees, the beauty, the movement of the backwaters, the presence of water bodies, and thick foliage wherever you go. When you go by train in Kerala, every scene outside the window will be the same scene throughout, from the southernmost to the northernmost part of Kerala, because there's so much of thick leaves and foliage. So when people from Kerala, they go out to other states and other countries, especially when they're working in office, they will look at all the concrete jungles outside. They will feel very sad. They will miss their home so much. They will say, it is so beautiful there in my house, so much of gardens, so much of open space. Any poor house also will have a lot of foliage and trees around in that place. Any poor house will be like a bungalow in Kerala. So they will be missing it. In the same way, there is a big bungalow here. There is a beautiful space. There is a beautiful house of, and even when we have our house, which is beautiful, neat. I know of a small boy. Somebody taught him to do puja, and he was living in a very messy room all the time, very untidy and all that. But the moment he was given that room and he began to do puja, there was some kind of a beauty that developed around the feeling. And he used to keep his room neat and tidy after that. And whenever he came out of the room, he will rush back to the room. He says, something very nice that draws me to my home, that draws me to my room. It is a very practical example I'm quoting you, really happened. So, yada ayati atmano bhavam tada tat paramam padam. So, if this, why are we going after things? Because we are not able to sit in this room of our mind. We are not able to stay in this niketan of our mind, swa-niketan, my own space, own space. I am not able to be there. That is why I need somebody else, something else to support me. Yada ayati atmano bhavam tada tat paramam padam. Then I have attained that supreme self. How long should I be doing all this pranayama, japa, asana, yoga, meditation, contemplation, dhanam? How long should I be engaged in such actions? Tavadeva nirodhavyam. Only such period of time I should work on stopping it. See, how long should I go to Delhi? As long as the train reaches Delhi, I should go to Delhi. When the train has reached Delhi and when I've got out of the train and I've stepped into the land of Delhi, how long should I go to Delhi? I don't need to do anything. I am in Delhi. Tavadeva nirodhavyam yavad hridigatam kshayam. How long should I do all this? To go to my inner space. As long as the mind has gone and dropped itself in the inner space, I have to do all these practices. Etat jnanam cha dhyanam cha. This is jnana. This is the knowledge that I need to know. Jnana means knowledge. Jnana means thought. Thought is something that shows me something. What is this? This is a water bottle thought. This water bottle thought tells me that this is a water bottle. What is this? This is a handkerchief thought. After I've got the handkerchief thought, I don't need to see this every time to know it is a handkerchief. Even if I don't see it, I know what is a handkerchief. Etat jnanam. So what is the thought? The thought that the mind should go and dissolve itself into that supreme space of I. Dhyanam. What is dhyanam? Ekata स्वस्वरूप अनुसंधानम और स्वस्वरूप अवस्थानम or eka pratyayam, always meditating on that one thought, is constant meditation on that one thought. Ajyadharaya srotasa samam sarala chintanam viralatah param. Sarala, very easily, if I'm meditating on this one thought of the presence of the self in my heart, that is dhyanam. Etat jnanam cha dhyanam. This is only knowledge. This is what we gather by learning the Upanishads. This is what we know by practicing yoga, Ashtanga yoga, meditation, going into the Samadhana sthiti, which is one of the six sampattis. One of the six sampattis means six wells that lead us to this Viveka Shakti, or the ability to discriminate between what is true and what is not true, what is eternal and what is ephemeral. That ability to distinguish between the two is Viveka, and this Dhyanam will lead me to that Viveka. Dhyanam cha. Sheshaha. Everything else that is being spoken of in so many pages is Nyayascha Vistaraha. It is only an expansion of the logical process of this whole. Logical process of Jnana and Dhyana. Jnana is the knowledge. Knowledge, so far you've got it. The Paramatman, the Supreme Self, is residing in the heart space, and we have to experience that, or we have to know that. This is the jnana. Dhyana is the process by which you can get into this knowledge, or make this knowledge my own. At the moment it is only knowledge. But how does the knowledge become my own? When I take it up, everything is there in the shop. Everything in the shop is not mine. I have to go there and I have to take up one thing. I have to pick it up. I have to pay the price for that. And then only I can bring it to my house, and then it becomes my own. Etat jnanam cha dhyanam cha. So all this knowledge is there in the book. How does it become my own knowledge? My own knowledge, when I'm reading it, yes, I know it is true. But always when the book is not there, when I'm not thinking about it, like when you own an object, you don't need to carry it around with you all the time to make it. You just know it is your own. In the same way, when you own a thought and when you work on it, when you apply, you pay your attention to it, then the thought becomes your own. Wherever you go, that experience is there, that feeling is there for your asking. At other times, you don't need to be thinking about it all the time. Like for example, your own name or my own name, I don't need to keep remembering my name is Sharanya Chaitanya. I don't need to say and do japa. I know it is mine. Nobody can take it away from me. Nobody can snatch that thought away from me. So, Sheshaha Nyayascha Vistaraha. So, the only wealth that we can have is the wealth of Smriti. Smriti is that it is a vritti, it is a thought. It is a moving thought. It is not a stable thought. It is a moving thought, means it can come and it can go also. It comes in, it can stay with us, but if we don't pay attention to it, it will go away. That is that smriti. And that smriti can be snatched away from us. All other things, like for example, if I have the memory of 2,000 rupees in my bag, once upon a time I had that memory. Meaning there was a bag I was carrying. The bag had a camera. The bag had my mobile phone. The bag had a purse with all my debit cards, and with the identity card, voter ID card, PAN card, and the driving license. Everything was there in the bag. and the bag also had 2000 rupees. So I had the memory of that bag. It was a very beautiful bag. It was a new bag that was gifted to me. I had a very nice, I had that memory of the bag. And I had the bag also with me. Once what happened when I was going to the beach for a yoga class, teaching yoga there, some after that or before that or whatever, I don't know, the bag was lost. I don't know who took it away or how it got lost. The bag was missing. So what has happened? The bag has gone, but actually the smriti of my that bag has been snatched away from me. That is what people say when you go to Kashi. It happens. Bhagavan stenanam pataye namaha. Bhagavan is the thief of all thieves. Bhagavan Rudra is the thief of all thieves. And maybe he has given thieves permission in Kashi to steal. And they say that if your money is lost in Kashi, then it means it is a very good sign. It is very good. And that has happened to me. I do not know why 2000 rupees only every time. 2000 rupees was there, new notes. I went to Kashi in 2011 during the Kumbh Mela time. And when I came out, the 2000 rupees is missing. I'm counting the money, it is less than 2000. So, Stenanam, that 2000 rupees thought has been snatched away from me. That smriti has been snatched away from me. Sheshaha nyayasta vistaraha. Etad jnanam, etad dhyanam. This is knowledge and this is meditation. Everything else that is going to be described other than this is only an expansion of the nyaya or the logic behind how this is a knowledge and how we can meditate. The means to that. Only the knowledge, if I know, it is not enough. I should know how to attain it. So the knowledge is given, and now the means to attain that knowledge, the dhyana, will also be given in the next few verses, which we will see tomorrow. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya, Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. हर नमः पार्वती पतये. हर हर महादेव. हरि ओम.